And camp is now, I believe, officially underway for every team in the league. There might be one or two stragglers, but I'm pretty sure it started. So, yeah, season's almost here. 6 days until the Hall of Fame game, and even though, the Hall of Fame game is rarely all that good, might be worth tuning in, having a look. I'm probably going to make a video a little bit before that, and maybe after it, just commenting on what I see. There might not be a lot to say, but I'll give it my best. Not a lot of news out of camp so far. I do like what I hear, though. I hear some good things about Daryl Tapp, and he's one of my favorite lesser-known players on the team, probably my favorite. So, hope he has a nice year. I hear the veterans are talking to the new, younger players quite a bit, so that's nice. On a slightly darker note, Jordan Babineau looks like he's going to miss the preseason. Had a bone bruise of some sort, but luckily he should be back in time for week 1. Apparently it wasn't any crucial ligament damage, and that's really what you got to watch out for. The same goes for Floyd Porkchop Womack, who hurt his hamstring again. Well, at least this time it's not his knee, but he gets hurt way too much, and it's starting to really get to me, but he'll be back for the regular season, and we'll see what we can't get out of him this year. And still no Marcus Tubbs, which is unsettling, because we don't necessarily need Jordan Babineau. He's not a starter, and Womack shouldn't be a starter. He might be forced into starting at right guard, but we have other options that are just as good, if not better. But we do need Marcus Tubbs because he's our biggest defensive tackle, our only really big defensive tackle, and probably a starter. So we need him to get back on the field because he hasn't had a tough time with that knee of his. It's unfortunate. He was a first-round pick, showed a lot of potential, was a great player at Texas. Can't stay healthy. But other than that, there's really not much else to say about what's going on so far in camp. Okay, what do we got on our plate for the Hall of Fame game? Okay, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers playing the New Orleans Saints. Now, while it is a little asinine to make any predictions or take very much from preseason games, there are some interesting things to watch here. Obviously, for the Pittsburgh side of things, you'll want to see how Ben Roethlisberger does. Obviously, he had that great rookie year and second year. Completely fell off last year, so, we're going to have to see what Ben comes out this year. So, seeing how he does is going to be pretty important. Also, I think Santonio Holmes is worth watching, because they need a number 2 wide receiver, and last year they kind of mixed it up with players like Cedric Wilson and Nate Washington, but they had a bit of a hard time locating that number 2 wide out, and Holmes has got to be that guy. Also, I'd also say keep an eye out on Lawrence Timmons when he gets a chance to play, because this guy is likely to be the guy that's going to replace Joey Porter, so his abilities, and a lot of people in Pittsburgh probably miss the pass rushing abilities of Porter. He was kind of an odd cut, I felt. So keep an eye on him. And also I'm going to throw in Ike Taylor, because he's another one of those players that played so well in 05 and then dropped off in 06. I think he gave up a touchdown against the Saints last year. As a matter of fact, to Marcus Colston. Maybe it was someone else. But anyway, I'm sure he's going to want to get back on track, and if he can't, you're really looking at a Pittsburgh secondary that's strapped for cornerbacks, so watch those guys, I'd say. As for New Orleans, obviously we want to watch Reggie Bush because we know he had struggles running the ball last year. So we'll see how he does when he gets his handoffs. Beyond that, I would say the run defense of New Orleans in general. So, the linebackers, the defensive line, the safeties, pretty much anybody and everybody. Last year, Saints and Steelers actually played, and what ended up happening is Willie Parker had like 200 rushing yards, which in turn opened up the passing game and led to a 38-point explosion by the Steelers or something. And that had to be a little embarrassing because at that point in the season, Pittsburgh was 2-6 and New Orleans was on top of the NFC South. So, we're going to see how they react to that, facing a similar situation. And I would also say you want to keep an eye on Jason David because they brought this guy in to replace a fairly crappy cornerback in Fred Thomas who tried to start last year and failed fairly miserably. So David needs to step his game up and show that he can start opposite Mike McKenzie. That's going to be important to this team if they want to get anywhere because you need cornerbacks in this league. And really, that's all I can say about the Hall of Fame game. I might have even said too much. Can't take these things too seriously, but it's football. And it's almost here. Alright, I'll catch you guys later. I didn't really have much else I wanted to say. Still looking for a decent news flash from training camp, so, see ya.